Early in the morning.
What's going on, the people? They miss your boy Cam Topical Juice, and we are back with another video for you today. As you can see, your boy TJ's leveling up. Man's got a microphone now after 5 years. We've got a microphone. We're trying to level up production in this thing. This is a bit of a tester to see if this actually works. Hopefully it does. If not, I better get back to the drawing board. But either way, as you can see from the title, we're going to be talking about the movie Blink Twice. I was about to say Don't Blink, but yeah, I think that's a movie as well. But Blink Twice. Now, a lot of people have been talking about Blink Twice because they see a lot of similarities between what we've heard about Diddy and the movie. However, we can't even think so narrow. We need to think bigger. We need to think broader. We need to think more holistically. This isn't just about Diddy. This film represents Hollywood in general, and even further, the billionaire elites and what they really get up to. So guys, we're going to done the waffling thing. We're going to get straight into this video. I'm going to really break it down and educate you lot on some serious stuff that this film shows us. It's not the only film, nor is it the only TV program that gives us an insight into Hollywood, but it's the most recent, and it's a great film, and I saw it recently, so I thought I'd talk about it. I wasn't going to do a video on this, but I thought let's actually address this. So like the video. For me, it takes half a second. It makes a massive difference on how the video performs in the algorithm. If you like me, you like my content, please do consider pressing that subscribe button, press the bell to be notified, and of course, please support your boy's Patreon by hitting that link in the description below. Serious videos on there, deep dives. You won't be disappointed. Make sure you check it out. Cheaper than your daily coffee. Now, I'm not going to run through the entire plot. However, I am going to spoil certain parts of the film. So if you haven't seen the film and you've got this far into the video, please watch the video all the way through, but just put it on mute, because watch time on YouTube really makes a difference. I'd appreciate it if you haven't seen the film and you plan to, please just watch the video through and just mute it. But if you have seen the film, please do engage, comment your thoughts, and let's get into a discussion. As I said, spoilers. Let me just give you a brief synopsis of what the film is actually about. So the film follows a black lady who's the main character, right, and her friend. And what happens is these two women, they get invited to Channing Tatum's island, private island, and Channing Tatum is a billionaire tech executive, okay? And he has his own private island, and he invites a bunch of people, men and women, to this island, and weird things start happening. You know, it initially starts off, they're having fun, they're having nice foods, beautiful cuisine, lovely outfits, drinks, partying, they're drinking and drugs. But as the film goes on, they start to realize that everything's not what it seems. When the night comes around, they wake up in the morning with a bit of a blur. They don't really remember certain things. They have mud under their nails and they can't remember how it got there and all these things. So there's gaps in their knowledge and there's gaps in their memory, right? Obviously, we find out that Channing Tatum and the men in the party have been essaying these women, and they can't remember it because of the substances they've been taking and the effects of this plant that inhabits the island. So mainly there's a plant on the island that once it's concentrated down and put into like perfume and things like that, it affects your memory. So that's basically what happens. This rich guy, Channing Tatum, gets all these executives over to the island and these women, and then they leave with a red bag, and the red bag contains the perfume, so they can leave the island and continue to essay other women in their personal life with that very same perfume that wipes their memory and things like that. Now guys, this is eerily similar to what we know of Diddy. Now, as I said, this isn't just Diddy, but what do we know about Diddy? He loves doing his white parties. He's been accused by hundreds of people as recent as 2022, all these crazy accusations. So we know that Diddy lives this lifestyle. Now, apologies, there's going to be things that I miss out, because when I was watching the film, I wasn't taking notes. I'm going purely off memory at this point. I didn't take any notes. It wasn't my intention to do this video, but in hindsight, I did want to break it down. If there's things that I've missed, please do let me know in the comment section. Let me know how you interpreted it. That's the beauty of art. It's open to interpretation. Some people can interpret one thing like this. Other people can interpret it a different way. But let's talk about the theme of white. All the clothes that people wear, from the men to the women, is always white. Now, a lot of people are comparing that to Diddy and his infamous white parties, right? But it's not just as simple as him wearing all white at white parties. You have to look and do your research in what white actually represents and what it symbolizes. Now, what do we know about Hollywood and what do we know about the elites? Most of them, if not all of them, that make it to the top and run these industries are Freemasons. Now, what does white mean in Freemasonry? As you can see on your screen, white always represents innocence and purity, but it also symbolizes initiation. If you know about Freemasonry, for as long as they've been active, when they do their initiations and their rituals, it's very important that the person being initiated is wearing white. And as we said, white represents purity and innocence and initiation. So comparing that to the white parties, what do we know that happens at Diddy's white parties and these other white parties? It's not just a chance to get drunk and do drugs. No. It's a chance to be initiated into the elites. These parties are designed to initiate you. Can you prove that you're prepared to do anything to make it to the top? Yes, come into this room, drop to your knees. No, you ain't coming back here again. Do you understand? It's symbolic. A lot of these people in Hollywood, they believe in something called thelema. Yeah, they're thelemites, and a lot of them are Masons. You'll see a lot of them doing their one-eye symbolism. You'll see a lot of them doing all of that business. You'll see it everywhere. As you can see on your screen here, even the meaning behind the Masonic aprons. It says the unadorned white apron an entered apprentice receives after completing the first degree represents innocence and upright conduct. It is symbolic of the purity and innocence men are expected to pursue in life as a Freemason. So comparing that to real life in the film, you can argue that when these people that have been invited to the island are wearing white and then they are being essayed in the evening, that is the billionaires, that is the men, that is the perpetrators taking that innocence from them. They are taking that purity from them. It's ritualistic. It's not just bringing randomers on an island to essay them. The fact that they're wearing white, it's ritualistic. It's sex magic, and it represents them taking that purity and innocence away from those people. What other symbolism do we see in the film? We see planetary symbolism. A lot of this stuff takes place on a full moon. Not only that, you see the boy who was in Sixth Sense. There's a scene where he's talking at dinner, and there's a scene where he brings up the planet Saturn. Now, my alarm bells were ringing off as soon as he said Saturn. Now, a lot of you wouldn't have even noticed this part. It was a throwaway comment. Very, very small, was insignificant in the grand scheme of the plot. But as soon as I heard Saturn, I thought, oh my goodness, Zoe Kravitz has done her research, boy. In Thelema, planets are symbolic. They usually represent a god or goddess that they worship. People who believe in Thelema don't just worship one god, they worship multiple for different reasons. Gods like Isis, Osiris, Horus. Yeah, now those three are very important. Look at your screen right now. It says here, Isis is a goddess in Egyptian mythology. She was known as the goddess of the moon and also the goddess of life and magic. Not only that, Osiris was probably the Egyptian deity that could easily be associated with Saturn. Both Isis and Osiris had a son called Horus. You see a lot of people get the tattoo of the Eye of Horus. So the shots of the moon and the reference to Saturn were not random. That was not random, that was by design. Have a look at your screen right now. This is from the Ice Spice and Taylor Swift video. Notice what they're holding. Taylor Swift is holding the moon. Ice Spice, whose real name is Isis, by the way. Coincidence? No, but Google it, her real name's Isis. She's holding Saturn. We know that Hollywood often hides the answers in plain sight. They are literally, Taylor Swift is literally holding the moon while Ice Spice is literally holding Saturn. It can't be any more obvious than that. There's so much more symbolism in that video, but this video isn't about that. The fact that they do drugs regularly and they were even doing mock sacrifices during some of the scenes of the essay, it goes to show it is highlighting the beliefs and rituals that these elites are into. It's not uncommon for them to do mock sacrifices, which is what they do at Bohemian Grove. Look into the Bohemian Grove. They do mock sacrifices to the Owl of Athena, who represents Moloch. This is normal. They often do drugs. If you know what Aleister Crowley is into, the wickedest man alive, he pushed for drug usage and hallucinogens, because when you start taking drugs and hallucinogens and then start having sex, Aleister Crowley believed that you could access the spiritual realm more effectively and more efficiently when you're on hallucinogens, and that's why he would often watch his own partner be intimate with other men while he watches and tosses himself off. That's why Thelema was all about orgies, sex magic rituals, cuckold, all that stuff. The exchange of bodily fluids from semen to shit. Does that not sound eerily similar to Diddy's parties and the Hollywood parties we're getting more and more exposure to? It's normal for drink and drugs to be flying around, because this is what Aleister Crowley taught. It's normal for you to be in a compromising positions and engage in sexual acts with other people, men and women, because that's exactly what Aleister Crowley taught. He taught that you should engage in sexual encounters with men. He said he taught that you should engage in sexual encounters with women and children. He was a pedophile. He was a fully a nonce. This is the same person that's on the Beatles album cover. The same person that inspired David Bowie. The same person that inspired Jay-Z. The same person that inspired P. Diddy. This person inspired Hollywood. Do you not see that Aleister Crowley's teachings literally epitomize Hollywood? That is exactly the foundation of where Hollywood built its disturbing satanic identity off from. You feel me? I don't know if you guys noticed the egg imagery. What's the long-standing rumors about eggs? There was a picture of Diddy with Russell Brand holding an egg, and Suge Knight recently came out in an interview and said that the symbolism behind the egg is that if you can fit an egg up your booty crack, yeah, it means that you're ready. You know what I'm saying? You're ready to be like initiated properly and all this stuff. Like it's weird. It's a whole you get it. Did you guys notice the chickens? The chickens in the film kept getting loose. The chickens keep getting loose, and one of the characters keeps finding them across the island and then putting them back in their cage. I mean, that's glaringly obvious symbolism for the victims in this situation. They're getting their memory back here and there, and that's the chickens escaping. Them running around wild, getting their memory back, piecing it together, and then them collecting the chickens and putting them back in the cage is putting them back under tyranny. Metaphorically and physically putting them back in their cage, making them obedient. Even the imagery of the green lizard. The film starts with a green lizard in and around its green settings and green surroundings. And we then find out later in the film that was a memory from a year prior, where the main character actually had already gone to the island, been essayed multiple times before getting sent back. That represents these monsters blending into society. These monsters, yeah, are executives, politicians, celebrities, musicians, people that we put on pedestals, front and center of society, but they're concealing their true intentions. They're concealing the true horror and monstrosity behind their eyes. That's the symbolism and the representation of the lizard, the green lizard, in and around its green symbolism. It's them hiding and blending into society. These people that we look up to and we see on a day-to-day basis behind the scenes are truly, truly monsters. Now, obviously, talking about the characters, you've got Channing Tatum, who is the billionaire tech executive. He represents Jeffrey. He represents Diddy. He represents Harvey. He is the billionaire executive who gets what he wants and must take control. He's also traumatized himself, which we find out, and he chooses to forget his trauma because he can't handle it. So he actively chooses to kind of forget certain things about his memory and his past. We have another character called Lucas, who is basically the passive person. He doesn't essay any of the girls, but he's also very passive and almost symbolic of the people in the world that know something that's going wrong and they remain silent on it. Now, I believe he was also drugged as well, so I don't think he actually knew what was going on. But it's a representation of that. People that are just blind, who aren't committing the same crimes, but they're in the room when it happens, like Eugene Deals and all them ones there. He's come out to expose Diddy now. But how much of this stuff were you sitting on before? Why didn't you come out with this earlier, when he was doing all this running rampant in the 90s and the noughties? What I really like about the film is it's about regaining control, regaining power. Obviously, these women, they start off as victims, but the survivors become survivors. Literally, you're not a victim, you are a survivor. And it's about women empowerment, but in a good way. You know, all modern cinema is boring these days. You've got all this diversity quota they're trying to hit. You've got female bosses that it's just not realistic in every single film, and it's kind of like, okay, like, how come this woman is somehow more powerful than 100 men in every single film? Like, it's like, this is a more realistic depiction of a true female hero, a true heroine. And she regains autonomy over not just her body, but her life. And the end is really clever because it shows how the society, if she came out and exposed Channing Tatum in the film, a black woman against a white tech executive billionaire, it's never going to work. So instead, she plays the long game. She drugs him with the same drug that he drugged her with, marries him, and becomes CEO of his company, all while keeping him under lock and key, under control with that drug that he was drugging the girls with. And I think that's a better ending. I think that's a proper ending. I like that. I like that ending. But it's just sick and twisted how many executives and rich people will get flown in to essay these women who can't even remember what's going on and then go about their business. That is exactly what happened at Jeffrey's Island. That is exactly what happens at Diddy's parties.
So it's come to my attention while I was editing that I failed to talk about one of the key themes in this film, which is the character that keeps taking pictures. What do we know about Diddy? What do we know about his lawsuits? What do we know about Cassie? Cassie broke the news that Diddy loves to watch, but also film and take pictures of the crime that's taken place. A lot of people who are sick and twisted like this use photography and films as elements of control. You can coerce and blackmail the victim knowing that they've got that, but also it's to revisit the crime. A lot of serial killers and murderers and seriously violent criminals will keep little tokens of the crime, little tokens of the victim, whether it's a hairband, whether it's something they own or possession, an item, whether it's pictures or videos, so you can revisit and rewatch the crime taking place, so you can transport your mind to that moment again and get that thrill, get the dopamine rush. So throughout the film, you see this character taking pictures of everything, and we then find out that Channing Tatum has been keeping and hoarding those very same pictures. It's not just pictures of people in compromising positions, it's pictures of the exact executives that came and picked up perfume. So he can actually use that as leverage against the executives, the very same executives. So that is the equivalent of Diddy having videos and pictures of all these other celebrities and executives in compromising positions and using it against them. Crazy similarities.
But yeah, guys, there were so many different things, and if I watched it again, I would really make notes. But even the Red Rabbit stuff, I mean, Red Rabbit was interesting. I don't really know, I'm trying to think of the symbolism with the red, but the Red Rabbit was obviously the maid the maid was really the hero in the film. The maid was actually the unsung hero because it looked like she was part of it, but instead she's been drinking the snake venom to ensure that her memory is still intact. And she's the one that gives the main character the snake venom to drink, and it starts restoring her memory, and she starts shouting red rabbit, because she's trying to trigger the memory in her. And I thought it was a really good film, man. I thought the pacing could have been better. You know, sometimes it was a bit slow to start, and then all of a sudden the third act just kind of everything kind of got sped up a lot. I think they really could have dropped gems throughout the film, maybe start the pacing a bit earlier, so that maybe some other women go missing early, and then another woman goes missing a bit shortly afterwards, and then but they can't quite remember what's happening. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think the pacing could have been better. The acting was good. You know, it's interesting because even the way Channing Tatum started the film, apologizing like Diddy did, and any other celebrity that gets caught doing something wrong, they do this half-hearted, insincere apology, and they say they're going to work on it and work on themselves and go to rehab and step down as a CEO from this and this and blah 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 blah. And that's how the film starts, and I found that so interesting because that holds a mirror up to society and all these deadbeat celebrities that just give these fake ass fugazi apologies and they don't really mean it. Do you know what I'm saying? So anyway, guys, this video wasn't actually meant to be this long, but yeah, it's kind of long anyway. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know stuff that I missed. As I said, I didn't make any notes, so there's going to be loads of symbols and loads of things that I did miss, but I really wanted to highlight the importance of the white. It's not just that they're not just wearing white to represent Diddy's parties. It's deeper than that. It ties into Thelema, it ties into Freemasonry, and it's those two parties that run Hollywood and essentially run the elites, executives, billionaires, tech giants, bankers. They're all part of that same club, you feel me? So it's interesting. But let me know your thoughts, man. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you lot at the next video. Hopefully this mic works. If not, I was holding it for 20 minutes for no damn reason. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay vigilant. Peace.